Hey everyone, Kyle Meinke here from MLive.com. Joined by Justin Rogers. Lions have their first win in the books, Justin. Now they're going for their first winning streak of the season. Rematch against the Vikings, a team that beat them back in Week 2, 26-16. What's your prediction for this week?
I got the Vikings winning this one. I think it's going to be a relatively low-scoring game. The reason I believe that is because that's typically how it goes against the Vikings. They have good defense. They shut down the big play, and I just think that the offensive explosion last week was more product of the Bears' bad defense. So until I see it a second time, I'm not really willing to buy into the Lions at this stage.
The skepticism is healthy when it comes, I think, to the Lions' offense. But I'm buying at this point. I think the Lions win this game. I think it's the first time we've differed, isn't it?
It is, this season.
Yeah. I've got the Lions winning 24-23. I think I look at the signs from the offensive line as being encouraging for the growth of the offense.
Absolutely.
And that really, it's not just a one-game aberration against a bad Bears team. They've been better, I think, each of the past 3 weeks. You got Warford back. He played against the Vikings in the first game, but didn't play that well with the ankle and everything.
Right.
Lincoln Tomlinson didn't play at all now in that first game against the Vikings. Now he's playing very well, I think, for the Lions. And so it's a different look than what they had in Week 2, and I think it'll be enough to get the Lions a victory.
Yeah, Warford's a big piece of the puzzle. I think people sometimes undervalue the impact a guard can have on the entire offensive line, but when you're running some of those zone run concepts, it really matters to have continuity back there. Tomlinson definitely had a really nice game against Chicago. Again, I need to see consistency to fully buy into the rookie, but 18 yards on 12 carries for the running backs in Minnesota. Joik Bell may or may not play, but his effectiveness has been in question all season. Mir Abdullah is still fumbling. If they can't run the ball, it's going to be the same problems as before. It's a physical secondary, keeps receivers in front of them. They'll beat you up down the field. I don't expect a lot of yards after the catch for any of those guys, so I think it's going to be tough sledding.
Yeah, I think I looked this up when I was doing one of my stories this week. The winner of the rushing battle has won the past 7 games in this series, going back to, I believe, 2011. So 7 straight games of the team that won the rushing battle won the game.
So you're saying the Lions are going to outrush Adrian Peterson?
No, I'm saying they're going to buck that trend. Maybe. Okay. Because AP, I think, he looks good this year. The Lions' rush defense has been suspect, I would say. And the Lions' rushing game I have no faith in at this point because of the injuries that are back there. Zenner's out.
Yeah.
Bell hasn't played in a number of weeks and was downgraded to a limited practice participant this week. Riddick's playing through a growing thing. The only healthy guy in the backfield at this point is Abdullah, and he's got fumble issues. So it's tough going there, but I think the Lions' passing game, they're getting time from the offensive line. We saw it open up last week with the deep strikes to Calvin, and I think we'll see some more of those this week against a Vikings defense that is much better than what the Lions saw last week against the Bears.
Yeah, I believe Minnesota's only given up 12 or 13 passes of 20 yards or more this season. It's one of the lowest in the NFL. They just don't let you get behind them.
Yeah.
Harrison Smith's obviously a safety that's well-rounded, can cover a lot of ground. Xavier Rhodes will, put hands on Calvin all the way down the field within, it's bending the rules as much as possible because he's like that. That's the type of cornerback he is, very physical. I really think it's going to come down to the Lions' secondary weapons. Can guys like Riddick, Lance Moore, Eric Ebron, assuming he plays, can they make plays against the Vikings' lesser talent on defense? Because Calvin's not going to get shut down completely, but I certainly don't see a repeat of what he did against Chicago. I do expect Abdullah to do more than he did in the first game because, 12 yards, that's not a really bold statement on my part. And I also think the defense is going to do better against Peterson.
Yeah.
I look back at that game, they had 50-50. They had some really successful stops, and then you just let Peterson get that big one. Nada should be back this week.
Yep.
That'll be a help. And it's at home, and that makes a difference, in terms of cadence, their ability to get the snaps and the timing of their plays off right. I just think that Peterson will probably be held under 100 yards.
Yeah, I think Bynes has gotten better too since that Week 2 game, and that helps. And the Lions have done a better job of setting the edge, I think, in the past couple of weeks, and that was a huge problem in the first game against the Vikings. A major reason why Peterson had 130 plus against the Lions. He had 130 plus against the Lions rushing. That's more than any of the Lions tailbacks except Abdullah have on the season. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, he's looked good. He's top 6 in the league in rushing, and that's going to be stopping him or at least containing him is going to be a huge key, I think, for this game for the Lions.
Yeah, I think Minnesota's fascinating in a lot of ways, but the one they're such a throwback team in a weird way because Peterson's the featured back. They lean on him heavily. They're the worst passing yards per game team in the NFL, and yet it's an efficient system. They've got guys that are quick. Mike Wallace, Stephon Diggs, the rookie who's emerging, a lot of Golden Tate-ish routes. A lot of short routes where they do yards after the catch. They count on efficiency and they let Peterson do the work. You just don't see that. So if the Lions can stop Peterson and force Teddy Bridgewater to beat them, I think that's going to be their best opportunity to get this victory on the defensive side of the ball.
That's what we got for today. 1 o'clock Sunday, Lions, Vikings, Fox will be there. So check it out on MLive. For Justin Rogers, I'm Meinke. We're MLive. Keep it right here.